Hi everyone, Danielle here. I'm doing a solo playthrough of Terraforming Mars, the dice game. I have a setup for a solo playthrough. So here I will explain kind of how that setup came to be. So initially you'll want to roll, take one of each of the 5 different dice, which are your resource dice. And you'll want to randomly choose 3 and then roll them. So once you choose 3 and roll them, you'll put the 3 results here in any order, and these will later be some awards that you can get if you have the most of any of these symbols on the cost of the cards that you play. Hopefully that will make more sense later. We have 2 cubes here for solo play. Red will be the turn tracker. You will get 50 turns to try to reach all 3 of the to max out on all 3 of the tracks. So meaning you max out on the oxygen track, you max out on the temperature track, and then you also max out on putting out all of the ocean tiles by the end of the game. You will start by putting one of the trackers on the 2 of the oxygen track. You'll start by putting another clear tracker on the -28 on the temperature track. You're also going to randomly choose 3 of these milestones, and you're just going to place them from top to bottom. So you'll want to reference the back of the rule book to see what these mean, but basically for Monopoly, it says you have 7 dice resources of the same color. So once you have that, you get to grab it. For Scientist, you have 3 blue cards in play. So you'll want to have 3 blue cards in front of you. And then the award nominee, that one's one of the corporate era milestones that says on your played cards, have 5 cost icons that match one of the 3 awards. If you win this milestone, you also have a great chance of winning that award. So that's pretty neat. So something to note about these milestones and how the, I guess, AI, if you want to call it that, impacts this. So as the turn tracker goes around, you're going to notice these light kind of orangey dots. There's 3 of them. So as you go onto the 17th turn, it's going to remove the top one. So you won't be able to get it. As it goes from 20 to turn 21, it'll flip over the middle one. So you won't be able to get that if you didn't get to that, if you did not fulfill that milestone. And then when it goes to turn 25, you'll flip over the last one. So you won't get a chance to get those. Each of these milestones are worth 4 VP at the end of the game. Some additional setup here. You would normally put 7 of your ocean tiles here, but after you set up for the solo playthrough, you'll actually only have 6 because you are placing 1 in advance on here. So when you place your tiles as part of the setup, you're going to place one of the city tiles on one of the VP spaces. There's 3. This is 1, this is 1, and this is 1. So you could place this on any one of those spots. I'm choosing to place it here. And then you're going to place an ocean next to the city. So that's what I've done here. It's right next to the city. And then you're going to place a forest next to the city and the ocean. So you're forced to put it either here or here, essentially, because they have to basically touch the city or the ocean. So keep in mind that even though you're covering some of the board items, you do not get that reward. Normally when you place tiles, though, you do get the reward that you're covering up. All right. So I think that's the overall setup. You have your project cards. It's a pretty hefty deck. You probably won't get through most of these in your solo playthrough. But you'll shuffle those up and then set them into a deck and draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that'll be your starting hand. For a solo game, you're going to set up with 4 of these bonus cards. You just set them up here. And then you'll get 2 corporation cards, and this is the one I ended up choosing, Thorgate. And basically the left side shows you the 3 starting resources that I'll get, which will be 3 wild tokens. And then I'll also be able to start the game with 3 dice. So I'll go ahead and just get my starting resources, 2 blue and a yellow. And to gain the resources, you just roll them in, and then you keep them on the faces that they landed on. You'll take your player color token and just cover up the starting. This way you don't get confused on what you gain during production. And then in solo, you also do start with one of the bonus cards. So there would have been a lot of other cards to choose from. You randomly would choose 4 for your bonus card deck. So for this, I have versatility, which gets me immediately 4 dice. Heat expert, which gives me production for a red die. Researcher, which lets me use it as a free action to draw 1 card, or a bonus for terraforming expert, gaining a blue resource during production. So I think production is important to me at this point. So I think I'm going to choose heat expert and then put the bonus cards back. So heat expert is a production card. So I'm going to place it right under here so that when I produce, I can produce all of the things in order underneath. Okay. So that's that. I believe I've explained just about everything at this point. We could probably start the game. I will explain some of the additional gameplay rules during my first few turns. And if you have any questions, always let me know in the comments. And if I've made any mistakes, definitely let me know. I'm not perfect. I do make mistakes, so always happy to point them out in the description and comments below. So the point of this game, again, is to just complete all of the tracks for the oxygen, the temperature, and the ocean tiles. And then after that, there is a scoring range that you look at on this reference sheet. And so you basically want to try to at least get higher than a 60. So we'll see what happens. And then this is the reference sheet. All right. So to begin the game, you want to move the turn tracker to the number 1 to say that you're starting the game. And with that, I will look at my cards I have. And I will likely want to just start with an action turn because then I'll be able to manipulate some of the dice or gain dice using the support action. So what all that means is that when you take an action turn, you have to do 1 support action first, which is this. And this means you get to gain a die and roll it into your resources pool. This means you get to spend 1 of your current resource dice. So you remove that die from your pool, and 1 of your existing dice in your pool you can change to a face of your liking. And then the last support action is you can actually spend 1 of your resource dice, moving it from your pool to the supply and drawing 2 project cards. So after you do 1 support action, you get to choose to do 1 main action. And those options are that you can play a card by paying the cost on the top left with the resources that you have. Or you can do another support action. So you could do 2 support actions on your action turn, and then that's it. If you have the necessary resources to exchange to increase oxygen, gain an ocean tile, place a forest or city, or gain 2 VP, you can do that. So it's very simple. That's all there is to it. So I will take an action turn, and then I'm going to gain a die because I think I actually would like to have a green die in my pool. So let's go ahead and gain that, and we'll roll it. That's my support action. Okay, so I got this icon. And now on my main action, I can try to see if I could play a card. And it looks like I can, as long as I use one of the wild tokens. But let me see if there's a better choice here. Yeah, I think I will go ahead and play a viral enhancers. So this will require a yellow, green, and blue resource, specifically showing those icons. And if I don't have it, I could always use a wild token, which looks like this. So this I will have to use because I don't have the specific yellow dye required. So I'll use that and spend both of these to play my viral enhancers. This will be used as a free action at any point in my turn, so that I can use any of this specific icon as a wild. So looking specifically here, this icon, this resource can be used as a wild. And once I use it, I'll have to turn the card like this to signify that I've used that free action, and it resets during the production. That's a turn right there, very quick. So now we're on to turn 2. Unfortunately, I don't think I have many options here. I might have to just take a production, but I could also... just do an action and just use these 2 wilds immediately if needed. So yeah, let's just keep it interesting and do an action turn again. So support action, I'll gain a die, and I think I'll gain one of the gray ones. So let's roll it in. Okay, that's not too helpful because none of my cards, one of my cards did need it, but that's still not helpful. I can't end up playing any of my cards here. So I think I'm just going to gain another die and roll a green as my second support action. Okay, so this is a wild. That's pretty helpful. A wild if I use the viral enhancers action ability. So that's my turn. And next, maybe I'll be able to swing it. These are kind of ambitious to do. The shipment of terraforming bacteria and AI Central seems a little tough for me to get right now. But I might be able to get the Safari Dome. Let me try to roll in as my support action a red die. Nope, I did not get the icon I needed. I needed the arrow. So, let's see. I don't really want to waste my main action again, but I might have to just use my wild tokens. What's the best case scenario here? I think it's just playing this card. So I will use this green as a wild, and then I'll do that. And then I'll choose this to play Safari Dome, which gets me 2 victory points at the end of the game. Next turn. I think for sure I need to produce here, unless I can change some of these things around using the support action, but I don't know if it makes any sense. I think I'm just going to do a production. So a production turn, you have to discard all dice over 3. So at this point, I'm going to discard the blue because I get 2 blue during production, and then I will discard as many cards as I want. I'll discard these 2, and then I'll draw so that I have 5 cards in hand. Okay. These look all right, I guess. And then I get to unflip my blue cards, which means I ready them. Step 4, actually, before unflipping your blue cards, is to take production, although I don't really know if that matters. So I'm going to take 2 blue dice, a yellow die, and a red one. And then I'm going to roll them. Okay. So we have these. And then it's the next turn. Turn 5. So I definitely have options here. this time. I think I'll go ahead and make it possible to use space station. So I will use a support action, which is to use this die, spending it to specifically change this gray die into a star. That's my support action. Main action will be to play a card by spending both of these for the cost of space station. And this one gives me a permanent discount of spending one less. I'll go ahead and put that there. And let me just double check it is permanent. I may have to exhaust it. Okay, so it's not permanent in the sense that you can't keep using it on your turn. You do have to turn it sideways after, I believe, so we'll play it that way. Okay, so next turn 6. I'm gonna definitely need a support action to gain some gray dice. So I'll use that to gain the gray. Roll it. It's a star. Not great. So main action, I'm not gonna be able to play anything. So I might have to do another support action. So looking at what I have, the closest card that I can actually place is this one, the greenhouse. So I think I'll roll in a green. Ooh, and I got the leaf that I needed, which is great. Okay, but that's my turn. And then I'll do another action, I guess. And I will spend the support action, spending a die to change this into this icon. Main action, I will spend these 3 resources to play my greenhouses, which gets me 2 green dice. So go ahead and do that. 2 green dice. And I think, I'm not sure what the question marks mean. Yeah, so it looks like I actually gain any that I would like. So I'll choose this. And I'll choose this. Okay. That's my turn. And what can I do here? I think I'll discard this blue to re-roll this yellow and hope for one of the flasks. Ooh, I got one. Okay, cool. And then on my main action, I will spend this wild and these 2 to play Eco Architects. And this will say I can maybe remove a forest tile to gain a blue. Let me just double check that. Okay, so when this has a border like this, this triggers this effect when any player places a forest token on the planet. So whenever this happens, I'd be able to gain that blue resource. And then I wonder if that also means I have to turn it sideways when that happens. I'm assuming so. But it doesn't actually seem like it actually. It is a triggered effect. So I don't think I would need to turn it sideways. Somebody might know that ruling better. Okay, so that's done. Next turn. I think I'm gonna need to produce. So let's do the production turn. So we get to discard some cards if we want. And I'll discard this one and draw 4. 4. And then take production. So that's 2 dice. And that. Okay. Okay. Then we get to unflip our blue cards, which we don't have any. And then now it's the next turn. So an action turn, let's see what we can do. So I don't have any wilds anymore. But it would have been a better idea, I think, if I changed this paw print to this icon, because I had this card that made it into a wild, but that's okay. A misplay on my part. Support, I'm going to roll in a gray die. Okay, it goes here. So it's a star, which is not helpful. Yeah, it looks like I can't play any of these cards. So I'm gonna have to do another action. So I will discard one of these. You know what? I'll discard the yellow die to change this into this icon, and then I'll be able to get the lobbying one, or the heat. No, you know what? I'll change it into the hammer for the heat trappers one. Okay. That's my turn. And then, let's see. I think I will now do my action, and I have a chance to just gain a die, so I'll gain a green one. Another paw. And I'll spend my necessary items here to play heat trappers. And it gives me a discount for that icon. And I also get 1 victory point at the end of the game. Okay. Next, what will I do here? I'll gain a yellow die, roll it in. Okay. Still can't do much here. I guess I'll gain a green die and hope I get another paw. Nope, I don't want to do that, sorry. I thought maybe I could get a forest if I had some more paws, but I actually need the leaf icons. Man. I have to really think hard about this dice manipulation thing. I can't do much with my cards, they're not too helpful, it seems. So I think I will do a second support action and roll a silver one in. It's a hammer. Okay. Trying to see, I still don't see anything worth doing. I might just have to do a production, but that seems such a waste. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just try to do this and play Deep Forest. So I'm going to do a support action of taking this to change this into a leaf, and then I'll be able to use this discount card to not have to worry about the red C and play the card now. It says place a forest tile. And then I get a green leaf resource per adjacent forest. So I guess it's in my best interest to place it here. I can't place it in the oceans actually, so I'll place it here. And then I get to choose the face of any die when I do that. So let me see. I'll change it to this. And then it's one next to one adjacent forest, so I get to gain a leaf. And then because I placed a forest, I get 1 VP per adjacent city if I didn't place any. I gain an oxygen, which gives me a green resource. I will get that, which is going to be a wild, which is nice. And I also gain 1 VP. My first VP. Wow. Actually, I get 2 because I raised it. Okay, 2. Okay, so that's that. Going to turn 14. And I'm going to roll in a red as my support action. Just what I needed. And then I'll play these. So this is going to be a wild using the viral enhancers to, use it as the missing yellow dye that I needed. Now this will say I can spend any yellow dye to gain any dye. Cool. And I think that's it for that. So I do not think I'll make it to get Monopoly, but I do get Scientist actually. I have 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have 3. So I do get this milestone. Okay. So what should I do on my turn? I have 1 die. Maybe I should just produce. So I'll produce. I will discard as many cards as I want. And I think I'll keep these and just draw 3. Okay. And then take production. That's going to be 2 of those. I'll roll it in. Okay. And then we ready these cards. And then turn 16. All right. So nothing seems too obvious to me. Maybe this media group might be helpful. So let me do my support action of rolling in this die. Okay. And then... Yeah, I don't think I can fulfill anything at this point. I do think it'll probably be worth it to just switch this to something. So I'll spend 1 die as a second support action and just change this to this icon. This way I could play my media group. Okay. This milestone is unavailable now. I'll go ahead and do a support action of adding a gray die. Star. And then spend these 3 dice to play media group and get a discount. This would be good to play, but I need this to change to something else. So I'll do a support action of rolling in any die, I guess. I'll you know what? I'll roll a gray one just for the off chance I can do it. Nope. And then another support action to remove that die to change it to this. Support action, I will roll in a yellow. I'll spend these 3 dice to play my biomass combustors, which lets me use any green to exchange for 2 of those red C's. Pretty neat. And then next turn, it would be good to have some production here if I could get this card, Zeppelin's out. I think... I have a lot of blue cards, and I'm like a little confused as to maybe what I might need here. The support action on roll green. That could potentially be a wild. And then another support will be rolling a blue in. Okay. The second one would be removed, but nothing to be removed there. I'll do a support action of rolling in another yellow. Let's see. And then at this point, I can play these two, using this as a wild. So I can play infrastructure, and that'll get me a gray die per city tile, which is just one. Okay. All right. I could roll in as a support a blue die. Got that. Could try to get Zeppelins on the next turn. I'll use this die to make this into the O2. Support, I will roll this green in. It's a paw. Main action, spend these three to get Zeppelins so I could get some production, additional production for yellow. And then I'm going to I guess I'll take a production at this point. I don't think there's any point in waiting. I'll keep this in my hand and draw. Then produce 2 blues, yellow, red, yellow. Roll all of them. See what I get. Okay. Then we'll ready all the blue cards. That's my turn. Fortunately, this final one gets removed. I don't think I was able to meet that. And yeah, so that was about halfway through the game because it's turn 25. Hopefully you got a good gist of what this game is about. Say this was the end of the game and I did not end up reaching any of the end of the tracks there, I basically lose the game. But if I did, I'd be able to score up all my VPs, and specifically the solo awards. Basically, if I've gotten, let's see, so solo awards are interesting because it says here that if it's a common icon, if you have 10, you get 5. If you have 9, you get 3. If it's an uncommon icon, if you have 8 of those icons, and those icons meaning they have to show up here, so you have at least any of those numbers, you get the VP associated with it. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting version of Terraforming Mars. I am enjoying it so far because of the dice rolling, and it really is somewhat of a it's pretty luck based, but you have plenty of chances, especially with the support actions, to manipulate your dice. It seems difficult though. As you can see, I didn't even increase any of my oxygen. I barely placed any tiles, and I'm already halfway through the game. But I also didn't play so many red cards. I played a lot of blue cards, interestingly enough. In my previous games, I actually barely played any blue cards, but I guess that goes to show you that every game is very different. It's not going to play out the same way, depending on the cards you get. But yeah, I hope you found this helpful. This was pretty much a quick playthrough to show you how the game works, to see if you're interested in playing something like this. I like that the setup is fairly easy. There's, I would have to follow the rulebook every time I take this game out. There's no way I'm going to remember everything. But it was, took less than 5 minutes. It is on the Diced app, I think it's called. so that you can just follow along there to set up for your solo game, which I found to be very simple and easy to follow. But yeah, I may or may not do a full playthrough. It depends how much time I end up having. It's a little bit hard now with my son, who doesn't take as many naps as he used to. But I hope you were able to enjoy this anyway, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.